Hey everyone, my name is Jeff Douglas and I am a doctor of physical therapy and golf fitness coach. And today I'm going to go over a simple flexibility and mobility routine that you could do on a daily basis, working from our hips all the way up to our neck. That's good. Hey everyone, my name is Jeff Douglas. I am a doctor of physical therapy and golf fitness coach. And today I'm going to go over a simple flexibility and mobility routine that you could do that works pretty much from your knees all the way up to your neck, that you can do on a daily basis to improve your mobility and flexibility so that you can get into the positions that you want, feel better throughout the season, all right? So follow along with me today. As you do this, don't ever push yourself into a stretch that is too severe that you would actually potentially hurt yourself. Always need to do a nice gentle stretch. And certain positions you may have to alter based on the amount of mobility or flexibility you have. So you don't have to be perfect exactly how I am, just kind of get there, but we're looking for the stretch in those positions, and I'll tell you what you should be feeling when we get there, all right? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into what's called a 90-90 position. So we got 90 degrees of hip flexion, 90 degrees of knee flexion here. And we're going to turn our chest, and we're just gonna lean forward, keeping our chest tall and proud, and you're going to lean as far forward as you can, and you should feel a stretch in your left butt cheek. Again, some of you might have to alter based on different positions that you have, all right? You can even bring a block in and help lean and use your arms to help you, but we're going to lean down, and we're going to just sink, and we're going to start the timer. And you're going to do this for about 60 to 90 seconds, depending how much time you have that day. Obviously, if you have more time, try to do 90 seconds. If you're rushed a little bit more, then you're only going to do the 60 seconds. And you're going to sink, and you're going to go until you feel about a 4 out of 10 on the stretch scale. So 0 would be no stretch at all. 10 would be like you literally think you're going to rip your muscles. Sitting around a 4 or 5, working on belly breathing. So in through your nose, fill up that belly using the diaphragm, exhaling. And our goal through this time that we're waiting is we want to get lower and lower as the body allows, all right? Don't force it and bring that stretch rating anything over that 4 or 5 that I was talking about, all right? And once we get to about 75 seconds today is what we're going to do. We're going to do what's called pails and rails. This is a functional range conditioning concept. If you go on YouTube, you can look up functional range conditioning, but it's a simple stretching / mobility program that is taught out there by. All right, so what we're going to do now when the time is coming up in 5 seconds, and I'm going to take this knee or the shin, and I'm going to drive it in the ground, pushing with my own muscles. All right, I'm not using my hands. I'm going to push down with 60% effort. So if I was doing 100% max push, I'm doing 60%, and then in 3 seconds, we're going to go to 70%. Again, pushing this into the ground. You're going to feel it working on the outer. Push to 80%. We're going to push to 90%. And then I'm going to push as hard as I can to the ground with the leg. I'm not talking about my hands. That does not hurt. So push, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And now I want to see if you can go a little lower. That contract, relax can sometimes get the neurological system to relax a little bit more and allow us to sink deeper. Now we get to that new 4 out or 5 out of 10 on that stretch. And we're going to do one more round of those pails and rails. All right. Push, 60%. Ramping up, push, 70%. Now I want you to push at 80, pushing at 90, and pushing at 100% effort, and relax. And now I'm going to try to actually lift this leg and this heel up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And you can brace when you do that, and some of you may not be able to move, but we're trying to activate those muscles. We're trying to own that new range of motion. All right, now in the same position, what I want you to do is we're just going to rotate our chest towards the back leg. All right, and then once we rotate, what we're looking for here is keep that knee down. We're looking for a stretch on the back side. You should feel a stretch in the outer part of this hip, and we're just going to hang out there. Again, somewhere between 60 to 90 seconds on your own. Today we're going to do 75 seconds. So now I'm going into internal rotation of my back leg here in this 90-90 position, all right? Again, focus on breathing into the belly, and then we're going to relax out, all right? And keep focusing on that breathing, and again, as the body allows, you can turn a little bit more, sink into it, all right, to get a good stretch going on there. Now, anytime you're doing a flexibility mobility program, you got to know it's going to take time. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to happen in a week. This is going to take probably months to really get good results, and you have to show up on a consistent basis to get these results. Don't think you're going to come in, do one stretch, and all of a sudden you're going to be where you want to be, all right? Show up, carve time into your day. You can do this when you're watching TV. You can do this when you're potentially playing with the kids, homework, studying. You know, there's a lot of different times you can blend this in, all right? Take a break from work, get on the ground if you can, all right? So then there was 75 seconds, and then we're just going to come out of that one. Now, we're going to flip our hips, going into a 99 position now, the other way. Same thing, tall, proud chest, lean forward till you feel that 4 or 5 out of 10 on the stretch, going for 75 seconds. And you can see with this technique, we're just doing a passive stretch. Passive means we're just hanging out, chilling. That's just allowing the neurological system to relax so we can get into more range of motion. Then we add a contract, relax, which again can give us even more range of motion to get into. But then we have to add an active component to all this. So if after you do some kind of passive stretch where we hold it, we need to make sure we're doing something actively right after to own that new range of motion, to teach the brain that it's safe to go there and that we have the strength and it's okay for us. Otherwise, if we're not strong there or we don't train it, we're just going to reset back to the range of motion we were at before. So we can do things to trick our body to allow us to have more, but then we have to train in that new range of motion to own it and keep it. So that's a big thing that many people don't do, is they just do a passive stretch and then go on their day. But you can stretch and then you got to go do some lifting after, or you can do the active mobility, all right? So same thing, we're going for 75 seconds in this position, and then we're going to go into that contract, all right? Pushing the shin into the ground, starting at 60%, and then we're ramping up to 100. So here we go. Push down at 60% effort, ramp up. Now we're going 70% effort, ramp up, going to 80, ramp up to 90, and ramp up as hard as you can, that's safe as possible without hurting yourself. Relax. See if we can come a little lower. Okay. Got our new position. Same thing. When you push, don't come back. Push down at 60% effort into the ground in that shin. Push with 70% effort, 80% effort, 90% effort, and push as hard as you can. That is safe and doesn't hurt. For 3, 2, 1, and relax. Don't lose that position. Try to pull that leg up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right. Now we're rotating, same position, turning this way until we feel that stretch on that back of that hip. Again, starting the timer, going for 75 seconds. So you can see we did a little contract relax to this side. We are not doing it here. You could, all right, for this video, I am not, just for time's sake. But all these principles that we're doing, you can do it every single joint, all right? So you can work and use contract relax methods to help you get more range of motion. And there's different mobility activities to follow that you can use to own that range of motion. But we're just doing a passive stretch into this internal rotation right now, and then the next exercises are going to work on some external rotation and internal rotation actively. And actively, I mean by using our muscles to do it, all right? We're not pushing our body and holding a position. We're just using our muscles to go through that full range of motion here. So again, we're going for 75 seconds here. Feel a great stretch on this back side. Do not force yourself into any position that hurts. Some people, this might hurt their knee based on what kind of knee range of motion. That's where you have to play with different things, and not all these are exactly good for everyone. So not because I'm just doing it doesn't mean you should be doing it. You got to make sure you're feeling the stretch and not a pinch or a pain at the joints. All right. So 3, 2, 1, coming out of it. All right. Now, an active mobility exercise to follow this is we're going to take this back leg and we're going to lift it up, bring it back down, lift it up, bring it back down. I don't want to see you turning your chest. Keep this locked in here, and only get that range of motion from the hip into external rotation. We're doing 10 reps. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so we did passive, followed that by active mobility. Now reverse, we're going internal rotations. We're going to lift the heel up, keeping the knee down. So lift up, 1, 2, and some of you might not even be able to lift it because you don't have that mobility right now. You don't have that strength in that range of motion, or you don't even have that range of motion. So don't be shocked. And if that's the case, doing 10 reps here, you can try to assist with your hand or have a strap and pull if you can't get it right now. And then as you work on this at a consistent basis, you'll see, oh my God, I can actually move that joint now into internal rotation. Flip sides. Chest stays here. Open up, external rotation hinges. 10 of them. And you may even notice a difference on one side versus the other where, oh, this is easy. And you get on another side and you're like, oh, I can't do it as well. All right? Totally normal. Could just be what you use more in life. Could just be you had an injury. A lot of different reasons. Get your 10 in and then reverse. Lift up. 1, 2, internal rotations here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So we just worked a lot of internal and external rotation of our hips, passively and actively. Now we're going to work some rotation in our mid-back. That's very important for golfers. And as you can see, we want our motion to come from hips and upper back, and that's why we're doing a lot of this when we go golf and not our low back, and that's where people can potentially have injuries if they're putting too much stress there. So I like to take a foam roller or a yoga block. Lay on your side. Bring your top leg to 90 degrees. Rest your head. Bottom leg is straight. And what we're going to do is you're going to take your arm and you're going to open up and try to get your shoulder to touch the ground there without this knee coming up. This knee stays glued. You go as far as you can. You should feel a stretch in your upper back and come back. If you can't reach, don't force it. I've had people try to get there and then they hurt themselves. We just do what the body allows. Feel a good 4 out of 10. We're doing 12 reps here of this. And over time, with many, many reps, you should improve range of motion. This is 6. If you have a shoulder that's bad, keep it nice and tight and just let the upper back roll. If you have a shoulder that's okay, you can open up like this. That's 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good. And then you would just flip to the other side. You can always do more reps. You could do longer holds at the other side. Bottom leg straight. Hip at 90 degrees. Keep it pinned to whatever object you have there. Doing 12. 2. You can work on breathing as well when you're going through this. This is one of my favorite exercises right here. I think this feels so good. I do this on a consistent basis with my clients. 10, 11, and 12. Excellent. You're going to come on up now. So that was hips, mid-back. We're going to work what many people say they have is a tight hip flexor. Now, many people don't have tight hip flexors, they have weak hip flexors, but that's a whole nother evaluation. But if it is a tight hip flexor, a good stretch you can do is you can get here, half kneel position, one knee down, one knee up. Tuck your pelvis, so you should be able to do a posterior pelvic tilt, anterior pelvic tilt, get into a posterior pelvic tilt. You're going to then shift forward, and you should start feeling a stretch in your quad and potentially a little bit in your hip flexor here. All right, we're going to hold this for 60 seconds. Again, 60 to 90 seconds is the minimum that you should be doing. I even have people go to 120 seconds sometimes. But for this video, just so it's a little shorter, we're going to go 60. You can adjust based off what you think you need in this, all right? As this loosens up, as you feel that 4 out of or 5 out of 10 in a stretch becomes a 3 or 2, then you can start shifting forward a little bit more to really get more of that stretch. Don't push it. What I don't want is you arching your back to get there. That's why we got to get you in that posterior pelvic tilt. Keep your rib cage up here, locked down, and you're just letting it stretch. You can also change your hip position to feel a little bit here. I can change that. I can also add a lean to the side, and that might light up your stretch a little bit more, get the iliopsoas a little bit more, maybe stretch out the obliques. So don't be afraid. I love adding this component to it as well. All right. And then we got about 4 more seconds. Good. And then you would switch sides. Same thing. We're going for 60 seconds today. Posterior pelvic tilt. Shift forward. And let's add in that side bend here. And you should feel that beautiful stretch going on that left hip. And we're going to hold, breathing, keeping that stretch at a 4 or 5 out of 10. Not going to hurt ourselves because we know if we do this consistently at a light stretch, over time it's going to improve. We don't need it to happen this moment and hurt ourselves. Halfway there. Again, can focus on breathing. If it starts lightening up, don't be afraid to shift a little bit more forward. And we got 15 more seconds. 10. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. All right, now going into a hamstring stretch. We still stay in a half kneel position. If you have good hamstring mobility, you'll be able to get your knee straight. If your hamstring's tight, you're going to be stuck in a more knee bent. Doesn't matter. What you have to do then is keep your chest tall and proud. And we are going to sink our butt back, lean our chest forward, feel a nice light stretch, and come on up. You're not aggressively bouncing. You're just easing into that stretch. That's 2. We're going for 12. 3. 4. 5. I am using my hand to help balance a little bit so you don't fall. Not a big deal that you do that, because all we care is we're getting a good light stretch in the hamstrings. That's 7. That's 8. That's 9. 10. And you might notice you might bend farther and further as you go. 11 and 12. Switching sides. Same thing here. 1, 2. So I'm doing it, it's called a hip hinge here. 3. So if you deadlifted before, it's the same motion. We're getting the motion from our hip. 5. So that we are lengthening our hamstrings. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay? Again, just one way to get your hamstrings involved. There's many other ways to stretch hamstrings. Now, half kneel position. One knee up. You're going to grab a light band, and we're going to do some resisted thoracic. So we worked on our side and thoracic windmills on improving the range of motion, but I want to strengthen that a little bit now. So tall. You can even turn this into a hip flexor stretch while you're doing it. We can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Posterior pelvic tilt. Shift forward just a little bit so you feel a light pull there. Arm straight out. Open up. Do 12. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. And 12. I like to do it towards the leg, the lead leg, like you're rotating around it in a golf swing. You could do it both ways if you really wanted to in that position. Then I'm switching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Excellent. So there, we worked on strengthening that thoracic rotation. Now we're going to get into a full body, or full spine mobility drill, a cat-cow. So here, you got to get your hands right under your shoulders, knees are under your hips, and you're going to tuck your pelvis to start with into posterior pelvic tilt. Start rounding that mid-back. Come on, all the way through your upper back, and then go into anterior pelvic tilt and start extending through the spine. You're going to reverse it. That's 2. We're going to do 10. Almost like a domino effect. After one vertebrae has made it all the way to its full position of extension or flexion, then you start moving the next vertebrae. Going back and forth. This should feel really good, a good stretch in the low back. Teaching segmental mobility. You should be able to move the same amount for the most part at every spine here, or at every vertebrae. That's what's going to keep your back healthy. If one doesn't move well, others have to move for it, and that puts a lot of stress on it. So it's a great way to train flexion and extension of your spine to keep it healthy. Good. We'll do one more, shooting for 8 to 10. And don't go super fast on that one. Go at a nice, smooth pace, trying to feel each vertebrae move into flexion and then extension. All right. Last 2, we're going to work up. So we've done our low back, mid back, done our hips. We're going to do some shoulder mobility. So these are called swimmers. You're going to start your hands as far up your low back as you can. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift off, unhinge your elbows, rotate your thumbs to the sky, bring them up all the way and reach as far back as you can to your upper back and relax. Squeeze shoulder blades together, lift hands off, unhinge elbows. Now you're going to start rotating your thumbs downward into internal rotation. Reach back as high as you can, get them high back. That's 1 rep, 5 reps. Squeeze, lift, unhinge, rotate thumb up, coming all the way back and down, back, lift. Again, don't force your joints into any positions that hurt. Make the range of motion smaller if it's bothering your shoulder at any point here. And this is completing 3. I don't want to see you also arching your back or anything like that. You're trying to get all the motion coming just from your shoulders. We're not cheating and taking motion from another joint to make it look like my shoulders are moving better. Last one. Off and around. Excellent. Should feel a great burn by the end of that. 5 to 8 reps for that one. And then if that gets easy, you can always add weight. Last one is we're going to do some cervical, we call them CARs, circular articular rotations. Going down, all the way in flexion. Drag that chin so you're looking over your shoulder. Come all the way up. Bend sideways, look over that left shoulder. And then reverse. Coming all the way up. Look all the way over. And that's 1. We're going to do 3. 3 to 5 of these would be good. But what I see a lot of people do in this one is they don't look all the way over the shoulder. They just bend their head like this and look up. Get that full rotation. We're trying to take our joint through all its available range of motion. Our neck is very important in the concept of rotating. So we got to make sure we're training on rotation. Last one. And all the way back. Excellent. So I hope this gives you a good start to a certain mobility program that you could be doing to help your golf game. Again, not everyone's going to get in every single position I could get in. You're going to have to modify a little bit, all right, if you don't have the available range of motion. Things to think about. Make sure you don't pull too hard. Stretch 4 or 5 out of 10 on the scale. Never stretch into pain. You should always feel the areas I was talking about. You never should feel a pinch, all right? Every stretch should have a good feeling, and if you're feeling in the wrong area, the opposite side, it means your joints are pinching, not good. And that's where you have to work on this in a smaller range, and hopefully over time, you can get that range back, all right? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Would love to help you, and I hope this brings you great value, and it's something that you can start doing on a daily basis to really start seeing some good gains in your flexibility and mobility to assist your golf game.